Hello and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Tonight we're going to be doing a bit more of the Omicron quest line. Flowers and fish. Perhaps we should recruit some carrot-loving patrons next. And another question. Looks like we're helping the Aya now. N7000 would lodge you for your service to the cafe. Greetings, Coda. This unit commends your fulfillment of objectives relating to the care and feeding of the Gribeloff customers. Pescatarian menu items in particular have met with high approval ratings. The current mission is proceeding as audio records would indicate people would say swimmingly, ha ha ha. We have much to learn from the Karelians and Grebeloffs, and Les Dregs are now the site of a joyful cultural exchange, but do not take our word for it. Come and see. Might as well just teleport here. And yeah, I'm doing the same trick I did with the Laportes. Getting 3 quests complete, then heading on over. Then doing the story quest, then doing 3 more after. Cafe status, moderately busy. Waiting times, nominal. Alright, I have to do this. Can't forget this time. The adorable harp seal people. We should keep an eye on that one. They've already polished off 3 bowls of soup today. Well-fed Grublovs provide important mission data. Soup-related sacrifices must be made. Oh, you like making the customers happy, admit it. This unit merely acknowledges customer satisfaction as more conducive to mission objectives than mutual hostility. Speaking of which, Patron 5 and 6 should be closely monitored. Try to change the subject on me. Wait, who are 5 and 6 now? Looks like there's 2 more here. Who are they? Cloaked figures. Are they more people from the Dead Ends, or... Ah, they are. Hail, newcome patrons. I, Jammingway, would like to personally welcome you last dregs. Can you tell me a bit about your home star? Ominous figure. Analyzing metaphysical waveform, nihilism protocols activated, beep beep beep. There are protocols for this sort of thing? It has shared our truth and shed the self. This is well. The universe too is finite. Only in death may we embrace true infinity. Ah, yes, they were the. Did you? Did you just assassinate my barista? Why would you do that? Yeah, these guys were the last one, and probably were situational analysis complete. New customers of the Nibiruan civilization. This society eliminated concepts deemed unpleasant by organic life forms, such as war and death. In doing so, individuals attained physical immortality and a state of unified comprehension. Their projections were insufficient, however. The Nibiruan people only realized that elimination of strife would only similarly destroy their sources of joy when it was too late. At that point, they jointly decided it would be preferable to return to non-existence. Now, these were especially pardon this unit for a moment. Halting shutdown process. Troubleshooter initialized. Repair features and self-determination algorithm restored. Yeah, these were the last ones seen in the Dead Ends to show basically what would have happened to the Ancients had this sundering and all that not occurred. Why return this being to the finite? The golden mercy of R'Allah was so close at hand. Sweet mother, this is terrifying. Cultural exchange be damned. We can't let them near the other patrons. On the contrary, this unit believes exposure to other civilizations may benefit these customers, as it invites them to tour the local simulations of the dead world. To be certain, the nature of other civilizations is a long-held curiosity of ours. It may be interesting to discuss their inherent futility. That is, quote-unquote, the spirit. All societies in Ultima Thule are subject to unique manifestations of despair, so this unit recommends comparing each to the tragic perfection of the Nibiruun. We are in favor. To arrive at philosophical resonance with such beings will fill much time before the blessed obliteration. Dang, I'm getting kind of, reminded of X-Death from Dissidia vibes here. Basically, he felt that all was going to fall into the void of nothingness eventually, so his helping the bad guys faction, as far as he's concerned, was basically just him killing time. I hope you have a plan to prevent this place from falling into despair. Yeah, while it is a trope that, therapists therapists try to redeem serial killers only to become serial killers themselves is indeed just a thing of fantasy. It is true that ones that work with depressed teenagers often end up depressed themselves, so we do have to be careful with this sort of thing. You have already demonstrated the peoples of Ultimate Spool, the despair can be overcome. Projections indicate that once restored, hope is not so easily extinguished. Do you think they'll be able to help each other, like you saved M104 just now? I suppose I should be glad that they took you up on it. These Nibiru make my first stand on end. I don't want them anywhere near Elysion. It would be nice if we could cure them of their ennui, of course, but I cannot see it now. Or the Nibiru are the last dead civilization with sufficient data for replication. Should it prove impossible to turn them into satisfied customers, the probability of further developments in Elysion is low. Oh, that is frustrating. One must be so much scarier than the other two. I retract my complaints about our soup budget. I doubt something as simple as food can, well, maybe we can pull that one and Snickers ad on them. Hey, you're not yourself when you're hungry. Well, what if we invite the patrons from another civilization instead? The AF for existence. There's no reason we have to build all of our own customers. They seem rather thoughtful. At the very least, it'd make good practice than philosophical debate. This unit cannot guarantee that any amount of practice would prepare you to treat it with the Nibiruin. However, it agrees that inviting local life forms to be the last dregs would be good for business. And there we are. Yeah, I never did too much Disciple of Land stuff. Oh, but I did actually do some work on Machinist lately. I think I mentioned this on one of my previous streams recorded, but I actually ended up liking Machinist a lot more than I expected. I'll probably stick with the, crap. Yeah, I usually actually use the PvP Hellhound gun for a skin, but in this case I forgot to re-glamour after buying the new gun here. But yeah, I've been making quite a bit of progress on the ranged physical jobs. And like I said, I'm actually liking Machinist more than expected. Before, I preferred Bard, but I guess I just need to get Machinist down to later levels, because as soon as the later levels began, I really started loving it. I guess it's another one of those late bloomer classes for me. I know I didn't really care for Dragoon much until after, like, 45, and even then, that was only around Heaven's Ward when I started really playing it a decent bit. I need to play it again, though. It's still only 71 right now, or something like that. I probably should have asked beforehand, but did AI even have mouths? It seems like a rather important detail in this context. I don't think they have physical bodies at all. Current objective, convince prospective AI patrons of the desirability of last drag substance. We'll search for potential customers in this vicinity. You ask around the scary stone circle, everyone scares the sky. Thanks in advance. Stares the sky. Thanks in advance. Ah yes, Stonehenge was made by the Aya. Argumentative Aya. This sounds like it's not going to go well, but who knows. I've argued quite a few people. Although granted, I think the only ones I convince are ones watching rather than the other person. Although I guess that's still something. A venue for replenishment and discourse, you say? We once visited similar establishments. These are memorized the existence of our restaurant, where we traditionalists gather to restore ether and vent our miseries upon one another. Your civilization is young, so perhaps you don't understand that such a location is more than enough. Even the most transcendent minds can only withstand so much vacuous discourse. Further details on our restaurant's historical counterparts have been lost in the inexorable flow of time, so they cannot not have been terribly important. Ah, so a lot of their information of how restaurants worked and stuff have been lost, so they just assumed it must not be important. If only it was that simple. Unfortunately, there's a lot of things that could be important but get overlooked because on the surface they seem simple and unnecessary. Have to be very careful about that. Whoops, I accidentally clicked outside the window there. Sophistic Aya. The corporal beings derive meaning from the patronizing this cafe, you say? Felicitations. Personally, I've long since parted from such material concerns as the favor of staring contentively into the abyss. To begin chasing hopes and dreams now would betray my very principles. Well, I guess that is a lot to ask of someone to abandon. If it's any comfort in your frivolous pursuits, I note that I, too, likely once sought meaning, though I can no longer recall such a time. If you'll excuse me, I have much staring to be done. Probably one of the few situations where, NPCs just gazing off into the distance actually makes a lot of sense. I guess that person must also be doing this story quest to go by where they're going. Or maybe it's for a quest or something, I don't know. Oh, must they be so condescending? Well, what is your report, Kota? Well... One would think they could at least show a bit of respect to you of all people, out of self-preservation, if not else. Where the probability of further development on Elysian is now infinitesimal. No, I refuse to give up their terrible attitudes, all the more reason to make them see the light. Between the three of us, we will get them to enjoy themselves. Implicit threat acknowledged. Initializing joint operation protocols. However, this unit also must acknowledge a non-zero probability of failure. In such a scenario, the odds of ever securing the patronage of Aya Nibiruun must be revised to hopeless. Projections indicate that business may not survive this outcome. Alright, so yeah, basically what we need to do is get the Aya to argue with the Nibiruun, since both have a rather nihilistic view of nothingness and all that. You're as bad as they are, sometimes. You know that? Kota, you remember the Aya once offered you food, did you not? So they don't consider themselves beyond the concept of our past. There must be a way on that to make them understand. I love this song, but it's also gonna make me sad if I listen to it for too long. Truth. This unit will attempt to analyze Aya thought patterns for vulnerabilities. You interrupt my staring once again. Is this a physical compulsion? No, we're simply seeking an enlightened opinion. You seem very focused, so surely none would be better to answer a few questions. I suppose I would be within the bounds of my principles. As time is inherently meaningless, you will not cost me what might otherwise have mattered. Pray wait a moment, I'll see if other rational-minded individuals have interest in this diversion. Also, I'll leave the debate to you, Dakota. See if you can stimulate their inquiring minds and draw them a cafe. Objective, choose the appropriate phrase to generate interest. As this may mask several images, you may want to cancel any pending... Okay, so yeah, this is another interrogation situation. I believe this was introduced near the end of the Shadowbringers story, and they've been bringing it back here and there since. They have basically forced you to be unable to do anything else for a bit, since they don't want to have... Since they can't really be interrupted, but it's an interesting concept. Alright, so we have to win an argument. Truly, there is not like a rousing examination to take one's mind off the ceaseless torment of existence. Should we start with 350,173 questions, so, as is customary? 250,000? I was thinking more in the neighborhood of 3. See that in my cognitive agitation, I neglect to account for your base intellects. Carry on with your paltry queries, then. Now, if I go with the top, if I ask about guest hostware sensations, it's the same thing as enjoying a good meal. Now, would they appreciate me trying, or would they prefer my bluntness? Let's go with bluntness for this. Enjoy a good meal. Quite. Many traditionalists consume sustenance, as I partake in the occasional absorption of quality ether at the restaurant myself. Transparent line of inquiry. We have a little need for another restaurant. I told you as much already. Oh dear, I fear you misunderstand what we mean by the term. The food last dregs offers an entirely different experience from ethereal absorption, I assure you. Uh, let's see. This unit fears the question may have been excessively simplistic. Data on the AIA indicates a clear preference for mental situation via theoretical concepts. Okay, so they do want me to make things more complicated, even if they're condescending about it. Diminutive beings, just augustical sensations, are a primary consideration for establishment. Biologically, however, these are not more than secondary mechanisms to prevent primitive organisms from starving to death. Explain this contradiction. Oh, let's see here. Biology is not the only determinant, but they do think if itself is meaningless. Perhaps to truly comprehend would require tasting it for yourselves then. Let's just... Perhaps it is conceivable that having disposed of our corporate vessels, a prolonged absence of sensations experience, maybe by way of nervous system, has limited our imaginations to a degree. If only we'd possessed the forethought to record our gustatory perceptions for posterity. An unfortunate oversight, to be certain. Ah, I think that worked. It's not an insurmountable one. If it was the last dregs, we could help you reclaim some of the knowledge that was lost. Were enticement detected. This unit proposes following this conversational trajectory to its natural terminus. Though I acknowledge there's some logic in your argument, we are perhaps at an impasse, given our form's lack of physicality. Nevertheless, I'm curious to know what manner of taste you present us with, had we the gustatory organs. Best taste and ultimate tool, nay, the universe itself. Former lives. This is interesting. Would they feel nostalgic, having left their corporate bodies behind? They did say that information has been lost, but at the same time, they seem to like concepts. The idea of something delicious is maybe worth a try. I have the sense it's going to work out the same regardless of which I choose. The thing is, which one would be appealing to them in particular? Because an argument like this, I know in the past I have said it's a little funny how a lot of relationship questions with characters, you often say what they want to hear, but at the same time, as this very conversation shows, sometimes there are times you want to play to a person's preferences, after all. Maybe some level of... They did directly state it. Alright, let's go with the nostalgia. Go. Indeed, it is rational to assume that as corporeal beings with a unique gustatory, gustatory organs, we too once saw certain sensations particularly stimulating. If our cafe is capable of providing knowledge of such long-lost sensations, we would welcome the experience. Alright, yeah. Looks like the nostalgia was a good choice, I think. Like I said, I think it'll work either way, but... Well, it got me to think what would appeal to them personally, more specifically. In that case, I leaned a bit more towards the nostalgia one, since while a bold claim would certainly get their interest, since no one's likely made such a claim to them ever before, that, well, they're also kind of condescending, so perhaps appealing to them specifically. So I figured that was my logic. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it would have worked either way, but if anyone can do it, we can. We've stirred a variety of civilizations already, and with great success, I might add. Yeah, with that statement, I imagine it would have worked either way, but I feel confident in having thought through my choice, at least. For Operation Success imminent, Allied units must remain engaging for the critical final phase. The preparation of historically accurate sustenance will be no simple task, yet the hirsute being insists on accomplishing it. Is his compulsion intrinsically or extrinsically motivated? My journal does suggest making you happy will help progress my current quest. It's our deepest and most heartfelt desire to see hope restore the universe. My journal does suggest that making you happy will help progress my current quest. This is true. large scale as it is, but at the same time, they'd also probably appreciate a very practical reason for wanting to make them happy. Oh, I forgot to remove the chat block here. Okay, here we are. How could I forget that for almost the entire conversation? Deepest, most heartfelt desire, see hope restore the universe. My journal does suggest that making you happy will help progress my current quest. Given how the journal has interacted with, it does feel like our character is writing it to some degree. Like if anyone's done the Dark Knight story quest before, you might recall that if you looked at the journal for each step, it actually has unique dialogue that hints at what's to come, stuff that could easily be missed. And even I missed it my first time through. Dang, there's a reason that quest is one of the most popular in the entire game. But at the same time, well, it could just be my character making a mental note of, okay, if I can make them happy, somehow we'll make it work. Yeah. Yeah, a seemingly impossible concept that they think is meaningless. My concern with the top one is, then again, these seem a lot more open discussion than previous ones, even if they're still a bit condescending. But even then, it might just be a passive thing where they're acting where they don't even realize it. So, alright, let's make the big grand statement. Oh, very primitive of you. Very well. I'm convinced your establishment to offer the authentic mysterium into the shackles of flesh. How heartfelt it says, how charmingly irrational, nary a mention of tangible impact our hope would have on the surrounding dynamists. Wait, th well, there are those two, of course, but of course, what we want most is for patrons to enjoy themselves. Yeah, I probably should have gone with a funny one, because at the end of the day, that's a very practical one. Though at the same time, a primitive state, they were convinced the fact that we gave such a primitive answer that indeed the cafe will achieve such primitive desires they want to relive, so it did work. This unit does not agree with the assessment of life forms as primitive, though it is rich in irony, given the irrationality on display at present. Yeah, I think they don't even realize they're being condescending and all that. That they're just so used to it, they don't even realize. At least that's my personal interpretation. In any case, mission objective complete. Allied units' performance will be logged as capable. The AI can do a lot of really neat stuff. Oh, we see you indeed have a few questions. When may we partake in sensory experiences? Well, first, we need to prepare a full course for gustator experimentation. Experimentation, you say? That sounds most agreeable. Yeah, you really need to play to their strengths here. If this human may suggest it, Kota's flesh would make a suitable medium. Wait, what? I quite agree. No one's tasted more taste than our interpret Kota. His palate is quite refined and bravery unmatched. He'll be the perfect candidate to try all the annual dishes we prepare. Then you only need to scan and transmit the sensor perception data to the AI's consciousness. Well, I suppose with the lack of physical bodies, there would need to be well, I do keep talking about how delicious the food in this game, the descriptions always sound. Only so many items have flavor text, but they make sure food always does. There was even a cafe in Japan at one point that actually makes some of the food from it, although I don't know if it's still active. Themed cafes come and go there a lot, to my understanding, so... It's unclear at present what their people may have eaten in their corporal days. We can begin by finding out what sort of taste they enjoy, then find a recipe from there. Regardless, we need to fire up the ovens immediately. Last I checked our inventory, the kitchen is well stocked with vegetables, fish, and Charlene cookbooks. The probability of the area's historical diet was identical to that of the life forms of Atheres, as the probability that the AI's historical diet was identical to that of the life forms of Theres is astronomically low. This unit proposes incorporating ingredients from other worlds as well. Scanning flavorsome category for ingredient data. I like how he just makes those computer screens go up, interacts with them like something out of Minority Report. The movie called Minority Report, I mean. It's pretty neat. They basically made those screens show up like he does. They tap a few things and it would go away, and they could just will them to appear whenever they wanted, including moving them about, like how you can use a mouse to drag around windows, but with your finger. That's pretty cool. It's an aesthetic that comes around here and there, but that's the earliest film I can think of where it happens. The movie itself was alright. Basically a big mystery of sorts. Examines the question of can you really go after people guilty of crimes before they've actually committed said crimes? But I don't want to. That's a bit off topic, but I figure I should at least mention it for people who haven't heard of the movie. It's pretty old by now, and I don't remember if it ever got a sequel. I might as well look for it. Let's see here. Why not? I'll just Google it on stream because I am a very well. Technically, this is a recording, but who cares? But I'm a very professional streamer, and so I'm going to be doing it right now while I was here. There was never a sequel, but there was a short-lived TV series that lasted for a season. Looks like it did moderately well, actually. So yeah, a bit of random old film history for absolutely no reason. An aquatic life form similar to Theres tuna can be found in this very settlement. Data indicates the creature is particularly pungent, may be useful in stocks. This unit once again recommends a highly affordable gold salmon roe available. So, don't hesitate to taste this in the field. Come on, I have to clean a fish first. Remaining allied units should proceed to the last dregs for recipe analysis. This unit will answer any further customer questions. Should be interesting to see the Aya argue. Knowing that... I think I mentioned it when I streamed the story proper, but the Aya's description of the universe ending in a big crunch before it goes to the Big Bang again, an endless loop, is actually something that is commonly theorized to have to be actually happening. I don't know how actually true it is. I know a lot of those go under rigorous testing, and only some of them end up making it through, but... There. That was pretty neat. And it's definitely at odds with the idea that only nothingness has an inherent value that the others had. Oh, right. Oopsie. I was a little late because I was putting on the chat blocker again. I don't think it's an issue. Oh, nice. It wasn't too late. There we are. Should be interesting to see how they argue. I almost missed the fish because I was trying to put the chat block on. I don't think that's going to be an issue since there's really no one here. And I'm not at the guild's, at my FC's peak time, so there's not too many people online chatting, but I like to be safe, you know? It's not necessary. Well, honestly, it's probably not necessary, but I figure, hey, if anything that important comes out, I can just read it out on the recording itself. Like when we first went to the moon and everyone was quoting the John Madden meme. Oopsie. Accidentally clicked out of the window again. And that's definitely more than a little ominous, but at least the final boss gone, it's not a huge issue anymore. Shouldn't be a threat anymore. Yeah, my connection's been really weird. mean, it came back. Of course. It's weird. Alright, let me just go to B right. Oopsie. Not this one, that's downtime. Although that does show off my opening artwork a bit for anyone who hasn't seen it yet. For the YouTube VODs, I usually cut that out just because, yeah, for the YouTube VODs, I usually cut out the opening and ending artwork just since those are usually just there to give people time to come in and leave before, or if there's a raid, give people something to look at before the raid goes off. It's not much, but it does feel like it gives my channel a bit more personality. End of the day, it's just nice, you know? Even if I'm not that popular or anything, it still makes me feel like there's a lot more going on. Feel a lot more professional. Here we are. Ah, here we are. I don't know what the word is, honestly. It's escaping me, and I don't know why. Last dregs. Wow, again already. Don't worry, I'm certain the N7000 would speak up if you're about to eat anything that might be lethal. Gustatory perception. How exciting. Are these beings seated in the anticipation of ascensions overwhelming for their fragile nervous systems? Think we can finally reclaim sensations of our fleshy past. Where they have thus far asked 81,120 questions. This unit can feel the last remnants of its patience slipping. But they luck this inordinately supple fish can at least boiled for stock without releasing toxic fumes. Yeah, I need to be ready to remove this, because I'm pretty sure this is about to lead to a cutscene. A timely rescue, chemical composition of ingredients within expected parameters. Then let the experimentation begin. Yep, cutscene time. Speaking of which, I do appreciate how the game's gradually increased its production values as time went by. Like in A Realm Reborn, they had to slowly speak. The voice actors had to try to slowly speak their lines to try and match the lip syncing, even though they were obviously a lot different, since they were made for Japanese voice acting and not English ones. But now they edit them a lot better. Plus, they can do a lot more in-engine cutscenes without having to pre-render them all, which is pretty nice. Oh, I think even during Shadowbringers, they had your character pour themselves a glass, which is really neat since well, player characters can look any different types of any number of sizes and shapes, so kind of neat they did that. Not half bad if I just do so myself. Dig in, Coda. Does look pretty good, honestly. Initializing progressive scan of gustatory inputs. Huh. Alrighty. Let's go with the vaguely terrifying fish, because that looks like the, that was the one I just caught, personally. I need to make sure it's good. I'm guessing each one of these is made by each one of the gathering classes. Was that fish staring into your soul just now? Hopefully not. In any case, the pallid flesh must be thoroughly absorbed of the added alien flavor. It certainly tasted something. Might as well give everything a try. The seemingly innocuous hamburger. I'm pretty sure each individual job makes one of these because it's just too perfect in the way it... Because obviously, as a fisher, I made the fish. You're struck with the sudden certainty that jamming away either borrowed or stole this recipe from the last stand, although the locally sourced flavoring adds an unexpected spiciness to the medium rare meat inside. Your tongue is now tingly. Ooh, that sounds perfect for me, personally. I used to like well-done meat, but I think it might have just been a specific place that made it well, because ever since then, I've never found a place that cooked it quite the same way. As such, I basically only ever go with medium or medium well nowadays, because whenever it's well... Oh, it's medium rare, not medium well. Darn it. Well, medium rare is not awful, I just kind of prefer it more cooked, I guess. And yes, that is weird, because most of my family prefers rare to medium rare itself. The perfectly ordinary pasta. I imagine the gatherer job makes this, but I guess it could be the miner. I don't know how miner makes spaghetti or hamburgers, but that's how it goes, I suppose. The pasta is not unlike that of Aetherius, although the otherworldly flavor adds its tangy complexity. As with Ea, surely a gluten-tolerant life form enjoys a massive bowl of carbohydrates. Huh. Gustatory data received, transmitting to patrons 7 and 8. Wonder which ones they'll like. So these are the flavors of which you speak? Oh, thank you so very much for helping categorize as sweet, salty, or bitter, savory. I fear I'm quite overcome by the medley. It's impossible to say whether sensorious assault is identical to what I might have felt when I was consuming sustenance, yet it is a useful reference to ruminate upon nonetheless. Now then, it was well worth the effort in my book. Tell me, did any of the dishes strike you as particularly enjoyable? Oop. That's a cool effect they can do. The first stimulated with the most pleasing fashion. How is this flavor derived? Ah, it's flavored with local ingredients harvested by Koden. Garnished with the powdered miracle shrimp, a type of crustacean the Grubbeloffs are farming in elation. Pulverized crustaceans. The nature of gustatory sensations is inscrutable indeed. That we found these ones pleasing perhaps indicates that we too once consumed multiple. I cannot imagine we would have. Why, we would have left that behind. I'm grateful to have ever even simulated the experience. Alright, that worked out better than expected. And there we have it. Do you think this will be enough to bring about more changes in Elysian? Inconclusive. This unit proposes the allied units ascend to scan for signs of change. Alright. Alright, what's left is we need to get the, Now these people, the people in the robes, were able to cure basically all of ills. Cleanse, pain, corruption, sadness. Yet all it did was make them a death cult of some sort. It was really weird. I mean, they create a deity that existed for no other reason than to, end their existence, so it was a little, weird. But I think that was obviously intentional. The entire point of the final boss, after all, was to, make us fall into despair or feel hopeless in our endeavors. We're curious what changes the train might come of Aya's emotions. As people, they do tend towards the abstract. Stigma 4 confirms the alterations have occurred. Let us proceed to the scan. Alright, let's remove the chat block here, and... Ooh. Those are pretty. Are they pets or something? Shocked one. I see, so they're remembering more of their past. These creatures certainly weren't here before, were they? They put me in the mind of Aetherius jellyfish. No results found in database. Furthermore, these life forms differ from the simulations in Ultima Thule on a molecular level. A new species has been born here? Is it so illogical? Elysian's climate is suitable for growth of complex vegetation, and a significant portion of its surface is occupied by sea. Many life forms have arisen in similar environments. This unit would venture that under these conditions, the AI is yearning for a corporeal past sufficient to cause dynamis to coalesce as an organic life. Oh, so we're not just restoring old life, we're making new ones. It's incredible. New life. I see, so these aren't from the AI's past. Barball. Such adorable life you are. Yes, you are. Like unto newborn babies, or so I assume. Aeons have passed since we Ea have held a child. That means this is a new experience for all of them. Yet it is not inconceivable that some part of us remembers if these creatures arose from our fondness of the past. They may indeed be nice and forms mentioned in our ancient records. So they could be, or it could be a new one mixed from old records and new stuff. I do see a certain resemblance. Would you like to give these little ones a name, then? We lost the meaning to our names long ago, leaving us only a simple phonemic system we now employ for individuals. The suggestion we might impart the significance of these children via nomenclature is depressingly ludicrous. Oh, even he's depressed, they can't think of one. Nevertheless, we call them Mu Missive. Peculiar name to share, perhaps, but one we may find the meaning in together. I cannot spell that to save my life. It sounds lovely. Yeah, I can tell you right now, I'm never going to pronounce that correct no matter how many thousands of years pass. Should like to remain with the Mu Missive for a time. Doubtless know much of gustatory sensation and other such facets of our corporality. Interesting. So they're either from the Aea's past that even they forgot. In serving as their guardians, we may yet reclaim some of what was lost. New life has arisen from the Aea's longing. Nurture and protect the Mu Missive, for they have much to share. There's yet room for Elysian to grow and change. What other hopes will the power of Dynamis bring to life? It would be a great deal more difficult for us to focus those creatures about. They're so wibbly-wobbly. Were this unit requests you contain yourself. Energy levels already low. Do the patrons ceaseless querying? Well, I guess that would be quite tiring. Nevertheless, this unit does admit to curiosity regarding the new life forms, though it is probable they share data with the Aea's genetic memory. The possibilities for the development are infinite. This differentiates them from the other Dynamis space life forms. Maybe they're just one more indication that you lot aren't doomed after all. This place was built for endings, it's true, but we may have seen a beginning. We have seen many a beginning. Let's keep that trend going, shall we? Affirmative. Our mission remains one constant among many variables. There we are. Reputation up. Reputation is now respected. There we are. Oh, nice, I leveled up. I don't want to bore people with the, doing these quests. Well, at least pick them up. Add a wildlife sample. Funny thing, apparently you can catch wildlife samples and other quest items even before the quest is turned in to stockpile them. I've already read the quest dialogues. I don't want to read that out again. Especially if you were here last time, but whatever. Tribe and true. Omicron. Commencing summary of recent past. So yeah, about the Mew there. My personal speculation is they may be direct. They are either something from the Aea's past that they can barely remember, or it could be a mix of that and a completely new species completely. And judging from what the implication is, they're either one that's going to grow into its own thing, or it's something new manifesting from a mix of things, hence why they have limitless growth potential. It'd be interesting to see how that goes. I'm also glad they're going with a lot of... They're definitely going with a lot of heavy subject with this expansion's theme, that's for sure. I can see why Dawn Trail's going for more of a summer vacation type of vibe. I'm looking forward to it, that's for sure, but we still have a couple patch storylines before that happens. At times of this recording, they have already announced the next patch, so sadly the Moogle Tome thing is coming to an end, but new story content stuff to do will arrive at the same time, so that's nice. Commencing summary. Alright. At Mangy Manager's behest, recorded flavor samples profiles are uploaded to Omicron Central Command and summarily distributed to all units. Subsequent logs indicate 4 of 5 Omicrons recommend the download of this data. However, an almost interested flavor files, regardless of utility, has been detected in a single rogue unit. Upon downloading relevant data, the unit immediately assumed unapproved objectives and therefore rescheduled for termination. Defiance of protocol, the Managing Manager insists we support the functioning as unit's independent research ultimately furthers the mission to live. While this data is insufficient to support that conclusion, simulations indicate the compromise is preferable to retaliatory eradication. Scanning for materials that satisfy the demands of deviant unit. Appropriate organism located. If management insists this upon this course of action, the procurement of malformed creature native waters in the recreational areas of Elysian is recommended. Deliver material to abhorrent units. Aberrant unit. Please note that fiery annihilation said unit has been expressly forbidden twice. Guardians of the Galaxy. Emergency alert. Last Dreg's primary staff non-responsive due to insufficient energy. Provisional units deployed. Requesting immediate assistance from nearest ally Coda. Replenish energy of inert staff members before provisional units expire under unreasonable expectations inflicted upon service industry employees. Transmission sent. Your imminent arrival is expected. Corporal hand, proverbial mouth. Has tasty suggestions for superior life forms. But we ask, no, it's not you. Last Dregs request pending. Marine foodstuff requisitioned by Aya. Analysis suggests direct correlation to recent sensory transference involving miracle shrimp. Scanning environment for available resources. Narrowing results. Supreme foodstuff found. Initiating order. Capture the superior arthropod native to Elysian seas. Okay. I think I have go last Dregs for this. Oh, there's one at the Omicron base there. I guess I can do the talk one real quick, so this isn't going to take too long. I guess it's not like there's a limit or anything to how long I can need to do this for. It's just for as long as I feel like it. Advanced replenishment. We're initiating standard welcoming protocol. Greetings, Coda. Your imminent arrival is expected. Initiating instruction. Direct energy supplies from this pillowy life form into incapacitated Gordona Guardians. Restore basic functioning. Suspicion detected. This unit assures you the Moo missive was obtained ethically and with permission from Guardian Aya. Please commence siphoning at your earliest convenience. I'm just floating around inside of it. Electric flux. Oh, it's over this way. Alright, eliminate intruders. Eliminate intruders, be boop. Recalibrating, reverting weapons from purge to stun. Reporting to post. I guess I can do these if I feel like it. Plus this shows off the new mount I can get. Oh, it does shock me inside. Whoop. Initiating startup sequence. Last drag security protocol engaged. Trying to post to eliminate intruders. Retrieving data, previously incapacitated units back online. Cafe-specific disaster averted. Providing supplementary information. Evidence suggests Gordona Guardians are manned units of war, but data insufficiencies necessitate units currently operate as autonoma. Detecting depreciated levels of concentration, pinpointing relevancy to Coda until pilots can be properly reconstructed. Regular replenishments of energy will provide crucial last dregs to operations. Future requests for assistance are inevitable. I see. So they originally meant to be piloted, but we have to... But they were modified to be just purely automated. Interesting. The Elysian Playgrounds. Is it disconnecting again? Yes, it is. Of course. I want to do these. I wasn't planning to do these extra quests on recording, but I figured a bit more time wouldn't hurt anyone. Interesting. I was wondering why I hadn't seen the creatures the mound is from. Thought maybe they were from the past or something, but more complicated than that. Well, best enjoy this opening while it lasts. Once Dawn Trail arrives, it will change. Well, technically, you can set it to be anyone you want, so, of course. Alright, we'll go with be right back for a bit. We just, I could cut this from the recording, but I don't want to. I could also redo the quest entirely, but... or end the recording here, but... weird. I already contacted my provider about all this. How mildly frustrating, I suppose. Well... I guess I can't be surprised stuff like this is gonna come and go like a complete ghost. There we are. And I really love the artwork for this. Alright, Omicron. Oh dang, even the cast light can be a bit hard to see because of all the glow of Ultima Thule. Or rather, all the stars. I think I mentioned, but these kind of remind me of the City of the Ancients from Final Fantasy VII. I imagine, although I guess that one was specifically designed to look kind of ocean shell-y. I'm completely unable to think of something. How weird. Connection's been a bit inconsistent lately. Well, no matter, I have what we need. By the way, I've liked the Corellian quests here. Whenever you have to help one of them, you always have to help one of each faction, and each one is basically, I don't care about the other guy, Baka, but you need to help them. I appear to be in limbo. I think I might have mentioned it, but you actually can't... Back in the 1.0 version, it was famous that you actually could start as a crafting or gathering job. Problem is, you still had to deal with the opening storyline combat stuff, which were scaled down, sure, but It also meant all you could do was really throw rocks and really silly things. Expectant Aya. Welcome, Corporal Messenger. Have you the edible opportunities I ordered? Supremacist castrate. A magnificent shelled organism to be envied and admired. Fascinating. I thank you for obtaining such intriguing victual. After hearing my brethren's account of the miracle shrimp experiment, I have taken the engaging in semi-regular indulgence of tantalizing stimuli. Yet with repeated exposure comes the deadening of pleasure, as that primitive maxim suggests, variety is the spice of life. Indeed, a controversy is proverbial spice that shall allay the monotony of my endless existence, and I thank you. There we are. We're delicious, scrumptious. This creature transcends the concept of fish. Its chilling gaze daring only the most foolish to consume its flesh. Or offering of unconventional comestibles confirmed. Reconfiguring emotional state to grateful. This unit thanks you for unwavering procurement of this object despite its vernacular associations as utterly inedible. Confusion detected. Retrieving supplementary data. This unit will commence research on the indigestibility by organic organisms. Your future participation to subject would be particularly favorable. We're invigorating subjects' results statistically guaranteed. I probably should do fates in this area later just to get the mount speed increase. It only really works when you're on the ground, but retrieving data from a aberrant unit, research the flavor of traditionally inedible objects confirmed, per management's inadvisably whimsically parameters. This operation is reluctantly categorized as success. Extrapolating per potential outcomes, should aberrant unit designate material as flavorsome, sensory data may be transmitted during oil changes, cultural accurate simulation of organic mealtime. Recalibrating predicted results. Popularity of such a service projected to severely overwhelm current supply of Omicron grease. Though auxiliary protocols for oil change and preparation will be permitted immediately, future assistance may be required. On that note, I actually have noticed the text for some quest changes, whether it's the first time you did it or not. Like, one Laporte quest asks you to throw bombs at him. Items given for the quest, but you still have to use a ground targeting for them and such. And the first time, they ask you about it a bit. And then later, they say, okay, like last time, and such like that. Return of code confirmed. Complicated emotional state detected. Request additional information. Well... Voice analysis complete. Mission success. Engaging experimental exaltation sequence to restore a default emotional state. Fantastically achieved. Your presence is a beacon of light of this universe. Detecting errors. Aborting exaltation sequence. Analysis suggests that providing sufficient variety for Aya with gustatory interests will require thousands of individual taste samples to be accumulated and codified. Recommending code as immediate and total recuperation of strength in light of future missions. Dang, really good levels. Okay. I guess I can go ahead and... I need good new vending stuff here. Omni token. Floating ball fleshy horror was modeled after an Aya who failed to regain full corpora. Oh my! Why not? Now that I know that the mounts are extraordinarily cheap. There we are. And I guess that'll be all for now. Alright, well until next time. Thank you for watching, hope you had a good time, and I'll see you later.